It's stupid.
Seems to be stupid.
So it's completely insane.
Uno morto ieri qua. Number one.
It was so funny. Hello and welcome. My name is Steph, and I am a bit camera shy, so I'll use voiceover to compensate for that. I'm in Milan, Italy, attempting to survive on the streets for 5 days and 4 nights, to understand what it is like. Being currently unemployed, with my savings running low, it's not entirely out of the question that I could end up in a similar situation. The main objective, quite obviously, is to survive. According to Maslow's pyramid, I just need to focus on the 2 basic needs at the bottom, food and safe shelter. I'll have to find something to eat and somewhere to sleep while not freezing in January's cold weather. And don't be fooled by the sunshine. It's below freezing, which is as cold as it gets here in Milan during the winter. I also have some side quests, which are not gonna be easy at all, as I am a heavy introvert and prefer to keep to myself. Despite that, I want to push myself to find people who live on the streets, get to know them a bit, and try to understand their life stories. Also, I want to ask for their know-how and tips on navigating their situation. I also want to try begging, ask people for food, ask for work, and explore the city. I am chasing the truth about life on these streets. I approached this roofed structure as I had seen some homeless people staying around it in the past. Buonasera. Buonasera. This is Axel, or at least let's call him that for privacy reasons. He did not want to appear on camera, but we spoke together for about 20 minutes. He was also incredibly humble, kind and helpful. Okay, capisco. He came to Italy almost 30 years ago from Tunisia, got a job, got married, and led a normal life. Unfortunately, his marriage broke up around 4 years ago, and he has lived here ever since. As I said, and he didn't want to be on camera, because he told me as a child that he doesn't want her to see him on the street. But there was a lot. He told me that they're getting bullied constantly by the police and also by the other homeless people, usually the young guys. And he said they have like group of 12 people. There were only 2 of them right now. Yeah, they spend the night there. They have all their stuff there, and during the day they just try to get some money around the town. It was kind of sad because he told me all the injustices they do. For example, in that structure, I think it's intended for playing petanque. Police sometimes comes and fills the area with water, so there's like a pool of water for a week, so they have nowhere to sleep. And he told me that the dormitories for the homeless people are all full, and he basically told me that it's very dangerous. In the past he got robbed by a group of young homeless guys, but maybe not necessarily homeless, but definitely jobless, because there's just too many of them. And he was complaining about Italy as well, that they are taking EU money to deal with migration crisis, but they do nothing. It's crazy. Yeah, they don't do nothing. They just take the money and put the migrants on the street. To be honest, prior to meeting Axel, I thought these following 5 days are gonna be kind of urban camping and chill adventure. But he seriously spooked me. He even told me if I did not feel safe, I can come and spend the night around them. But there is still a lot of time before it gets dark, so I am heading towards downtown. San Babila was unusually empty and calm. I did notice a gentleman sitting on a bench who really looked quite cultivated. but his clothes and bags hinted he probably lives on the streets.
Buonasera. Buonasera, posso chiederle? Sto facendo un documentario, lei è nella strada? Vive nella strada?
Sono alla strada, welcome. You can ask everything you want.
Oh, so you're not Italian?
I am French.
You're French, okay. So you are now in Italy.
Yeah, I spent 1 year in Italy.
Meet Philippe. This French gentleman had an extraordinary story. Apparently, he was conspired against because he exposed some kind of political connected fraud. These individuals managed to freeze his assets and tried to force him to renounce his self-righteousness or legal capacity based on his mental state in exchange for his assets.
I really don't have money. I am short of money.
Okay.
A nasty woman, she frozen all my assets in France.
Okay.
And I have two choices, whether I marry myself, apparently, with someone here or in Hungary, or if I go back, I will lose my signature and she will give me back my properties. So it's stupid. Whether it's an old woman and I will lose my ability to make a will or to go to the court of justice, and I won't be able to sign any document anymore, like a child, or whether the second possibility, it's a wedding. I need to marry myself, I need to meet someone. So it's completely insane, and I know two psychiatrists in France, and they work with a magistrate. So they have made that stupid deal, and behind there is some political reasons, of course. Political reasons. Why? Because I know a guy who is exploiting others without any insurance, without giving appropriate money. And they don't want me to be free to tell everyone what he's doing.
Philippe described it as a medieval censorship methods.
So it's not anymore Middle Age now, but it's the same kind of process when they don't want publicity on something. The best way is to disconsider you.
Okay, so that's what you're doing.
So if you are in the street, you are not at the same level as the others. You see? It's not the same kind of respect.
To be honest, he is completely right. We all tend to look down on people living on the streets without knowing their story. Some might feel remorse and show compassion later, but our subconscious is a judgy bitch.
So of course, it's always better to have a job and to have an income every month, and that's it. I was on my way to Hungary, I stopped in Venezia and I changed my mind. Came back to Milano, and it's quite difficult to get out from Milano.
And how long are you in Milan?
I have spent 2 months now.
2 months? So it's pretty long. So
well,
how is the street for you? Because you're alone, I assume.
They gave me a sleeping bag. Mine wasn't...
Some charity, you mean?
Wasn't good enough. I was feeling the cold. Now I don't feel the cold anymore with 2 sleeping bags. It's not easy, but at least I will be able to report and to give my testimony. I live day after day, you see, so depending what will happen.
And how do you do it with food? How do you feed yourself?
Food, it's all around. I open my eyes. It could be food dropped on a bin, or food left somewhere.
Somewhere on the bench, and
Otherwise, I've got pane quotidiano. If I am desperate, I can go and I will have at least 3 meals for 1 day, one day and a half.
So they give you something. Well, thank you for your story.
No,
I'm gonna
welcome.
and good luck.
So, we will meet again.
We will meet again. Listening to Philippe's life story was baffling. Sometimes it took quite insane turns. Yet, Philippe is obviously an intelligent and considerate man.
But it's cold. I hope you've got two sleeping bags.
Yeah, I
because
have a
need
very
two
warm
sleeping
one,
bag myself now.
and I have a blanket as well, so I should be equipped well. Well, good luck anyways.
Take care.
See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Speaking of being well equipped, I must confess that I have quite good camping gear with me, so it's kind of cheating, you know? My inventory consists of spare clothes, sleeping bag, tarp, sleeping mat, blanket, spoon, knife, some food, bottle of water, toothbrush, toothpaste, towel, book, some documents, spare paper and cardboard, pen and markers, power bank, action camera with stick and stand, and my potato phone. I was roaming through downtown, looking around and pondering where I could possibly spend the night. I entered Parco Sempione, near Castello Sforzesco. Despite the park being closed for the night, I saw one man settling down in the castle's ditch, and another one in a bush preparing for the night. I was offered some goods by drug dealers,
Oh, non voglio niente, grazie.
visited the toilets at the Arena Civica built by Napoleon Bonaparte, and watched some kids training there. I read a bit and ate some of the food I had with me for dinner. If there should be one positive thing about staying on the street in Milan, it would definitely be this. These water fountains are everywhere in the city, and they are very handy when you need to brush your teeth, as I just did a moment ago, or when you need water. The water should be drinkable, and there's one very cool trick to it. You can block this bottom area to create a water fountain, or just to annoy some passerbys. I thought about staying under the Arco della Pace because a few weeks earlier I had seen a group of chill-looking homeless people camping beneath its structure. However, when I passed by, I found the place empty. As the sunlight faded, it became properly cold. To keep warm, I had to keep moving, and headed toward the nearby Milano business center, a modern district with many skyscrapers. I hoped to find some interaction there, but the place was already quite tranquil. As I was trying to pass the time until later in the evening, I discovered that churches are excellent places to visit. You can admire some history and architecture, or read a bit, all while enjoying a space that's warmer than the outdoors. I mean, it's not truly warm inside the churches, but any degree above zero feels soothing after spending most of the day outside. Eventually, I found someone who clearly had no place to stay, so I approached him.
Ciao. Tutto bene? Così non ti ho sentito? Parli italiano? No. No? Do you speak English? No? Di dove sei?
Zeg jongen, onder is goed hè, boven is het gewoon wie dat daar woont hè. Ja, goed. Ja. Wat is het? Waar is uw vader?
Netherlands?
Waar is uw vader?
What?
Als iemand tegen u hier zegt, moet je spuiten? Moet jij een spuit hebben?
No.
Nee. Moet je naar het ziekenhuis, Laurens?
Zika?
Is dat schizofrenie?
No.
Nee. Dr. Reis? Ja.
Dr. Reis?
Ja, Dr. Reis. Go to Dr. Reis.
Ah,
Dat is een lot of Italian voor, hè. Ja. Go to Dr. Reis, you.
okay.
Bye. Good
Bye,
luck,
bye,
hè.
bye.
Dat is over our commission. Ja. Bye, hè.
Could anyone understand what he was saying and in what language? If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. To me, it sounded like Dutch, though I wasn't sure. What I was sure of, however, was that he seemed to prefer the company of syringe-applied substances over mine.
I hope it's gonna be more calm at this time, at this hour. But there's literally several groups of youngsters, and you can see this is a very stupid place to stay a night. Sleeping inside seems to be pretty stupid. I don't know.
Finally, it was late enough for me to feel comfortable camping under the arch. But sleep, sadly, wasn't meant for me there.
It's very loud here, and there's always someone coming. It's a stupid idea to be here, but I'm already set up, so I'm gonna try to sleep. Good night. Good morning, and I just packed my stuff from under the Arch of Peace, and I'm on my way to get some breakfast. The night wasn't that bad, considering how bad of a spot this is. You can hear all the old trams. And they are very, very loud and noisy. And sleeping under the arch, I thought I'm gonna be like protected from the sound, but I think it's just amplified in the arches and echoed a bit. So I felt the vibration even though I sleep with earplugs. I felt everything. I had only like 2 hours of calmness, and then the street cleaning crew started to do the noise, and then people jogging, people walking their dogs and stuff like that.
I embarked on a mission to find a toilet. Generally, the best place to find clean and free toilets is a shopping mall. However, downtown Milan doesn't have shopping malls in the way you might recognize them from America. Fortunately, there is a new shopping district called Tre Torri, literally 3 towers, which includes a shopping mall. After doing the deed, I had breakfast in a park, which I shared with a friendly squirrel.
She found it.
Next came the time for begging, and I knew just the spot. The UNESCO-listed Church of Santa Maria delle Grazie is a beautiful example of Lombard brick-style architecture. The church is best known for its adjacent refectory, which houses Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting, The Last Supper. The area was bustling with tourists, but I didn't feel like approaching them. Instead, I wrote a sign and enjoyed the sunshine while reading a book. After almost 2 hours, I was quite cold from just staying still, but my passive begging was a success. I was given €3 and a bottle of water. I consider this a huge success.
Ciao. Ciao.
Upon returning to the city center, I met Leashek.
Buonasera. Da dove sei?
Polonia.
Oh, okay. Ja z Czechii.
Czechy. A, nasze języki są bardzo podobne.
Bardzo podobne.
We excitedly started our conversation in Slavic, him speaking Polish and me Czech. But as we had somewhat hard time to understand each other, we switched to English. This Polish man had a philosophical take on everything. I am not sure if he acquired this mindset once already on the street, or before when he still had quite a lot of money. In any case, something changed, and now he wouldn't work for money.
Szukam pracy. Znaczy nie szukam zarabiania pieniędzy. Praca taka, wiesz, hobby, tak, lubię malować czy coś takiego. Ale nie chcę zarabiać pieniędzy.
He lived on a street in Poland, then 2 years in London, and now he is in Milan for about 6 weeks.
You ask me about why I coming here. I told you because I want. Listen to my heart.
Now he is learning Italian.
How do you learn Italian? From people that talk with you?
Sometimes I'm going to library, you know, but learning from books, okay, can be useful, but the main process of learning is just listening, speaking, be on the street.
I taught him the word senza tetto,
Senza,
Senza
sì, tetto, senza tetto.
which means homeless in English, but literally it means roofless. He challenged both the English and Italian variants.
No, I feel that true home is not hard.
That's true.
But you know, bro, when I sleep in there, I have that often my shoes in the place.
It's
This.
I couldn't really argue against any of them.
And how is it for you on the street?
It's not too bad. It's closer to God, I think so. Living without food is closer to living on a trail. And I think so, that you know, living on a trail is the best model to life. It's like you are going, you don't know what will happen.
Leashek is on a journey to understanding God and celebrates life in any type of experience, good or bad. We had a quite nice conversation, despite me not being able to tune in on his living in the moment attitude and being constantly deafened by my favorite trams. As the sun shifted, I followed and went to Piazza del Duomo to beg some more. And again, I was given 3 more euros. Sadly, I do not have footage of that.
So I just discovered that my battery was dead for quite some time. I did not record while I was thinking that I am recording.
After very little sleep, I got the first night. I wanted to escape from all the rumor of the city. I recollected one remote spot, which I always wanted to explore. I set out on a march to the very edge of town. The sun set early and it became very dark. Descending the sketchy empty road, far from any residential building, passing by some dubious existences, I reached my destination. It did not look welcoming. Entering, I used my phone's flashlight, which gave me about 2 meters of visibility. I stepped carefully as I noticed big openings in the floor. When suddenly,
No, tranquilo.
I got spooked good. You can't see anything in the video, but I was really shocked and unsure if the dog will follow me. But since I reversed and took the staircase up until the 3rd floor, it became calm again. I found myself clean spot on the floor and exhausted went to sleep.
La domanda non è se credi in Dio, ma se Dio crede in te. The question is not if you believe in God, but if God believes in you. I woke up about 30 minutes ago and I was trying to research what this building used to be, what it was built for, but I wasn't able to find anything. And it's honestly very beautiful. Look at all these arches, and the beams look quite in a good condition, so it doesn't look that old either. But man, today is cold. Today is very, very cold. About yesterday evening, I just encountered the dog and people downstairs. Yeah, I kind of should have expected them to be here, because there's like kind of gardening colony under, and I think some of the gardens are used by homeless people. Luckily, I have all this floor for myself, and I wasn't disturbed by anyone and anything, and it was really, really good night actually. This is the one staircase. There's a lot of wow, that's a shit. Is that a shit? Wow, that's a big dump. Oh god. Human feces. And this is the elevator shaft I was talking about yesterday. To be careful not to fall in. Oh, il gatto Kitto.
I reached Naviglio Grande, the Great Canal, which, before railways and cars took over, was the backbone of Milan's infrastructure. It also holds sentimental value for me, as I used to bike along this canal to my former engineering job. I followed it all the way until I reached District Navigli, once a poor periphery, now boasting the title of Milan's party district. I finished the last of my food reserves for breakfast under the neoclassical monument of Porta Ticinese. Then, as I brushed my teeth, I noticed a woman pacing around. Street vendors like her are very common in Milan.
Giorno.
Women often sell books, but in reality, most of their income comes from the compassion of passerbys.
Posso dare 2 euro? Di dov'è?
Senegal.
Senegal?
Sì.
Da quanto tempo è?
Fa 7 anni.
Ma non è per la strada, no?
No, io non dormo per strada.
Ok.
Grazie mille. tanti
Prego,
auguri,
signora.
buon anno.
Ma signora, perché è arrivata in Europa?
E per aiutare i miei figli. Il papà
E sono
è
di là
scappato.
o sono...
No, in Senegal, solo io.
E quindi loro vivono da solo?
No, come la mia mamma.
E come hai immaginato Europa?
La diverso, ma è meglio in altri paesi. In altri paesi i miei figli sono studiati, ma nessuno non lavora bene.
Mm.
C'è una che non prende 100 euro al mese
Mhm.
in Senegal. E ce l'hai 2 figlie.
È duro.
Grazie. Grazie.
Piacere.
Grazie, buona giornata.
Continuing towards downtown, I entered through the medieval gate of Porta Ticinese and passed by the ancient Roman marble columns of San Lorenzo. Off camera, I spoke with a man who gave me detailed information about a charity that distributes food to those in need and their cafeteria. Upon arriving in the city center, I was eager to spread the new info about the food charity.
Ciao. Sai che c'è una carità che ti può dare pasto caldo? Sai dov'è?
Il problema è che io non ho i documenti.
Non hai documenti?
No, perché
Ma sei italiano?
Sì, sono italiano.
Ma non puoi rifarle?
Posso rifarle, però ci vogliono i soldi, ci vogliono tutti, ci vuole la denuncia, ci vuole la residenza, ci vuole un casino.
Un casino, quindi per te è meglio...
Ci vuole 6 euro per fare il fondo, poi 15 euro in una casa buona, 27 euro la cosa per la comune.
Ma da quanto tempo sei dalla strada? Per la
2
strada?
anni e mezzo. Quasi, ero in Svizzera io che lavoravo. Poi ho subito un incidente, ho fatto un coma e sono andato lontano col cervello.
Buona fortuna.
Grazie.
Buona giornata, ciao.
Ciao, grazie.
At Milan's main square, I observed the pigeon feeding frenzy, a common sight in European cities. It's something to be cautious about, though. Some people hand out bird feed as a gift to tourists, only to demand money from them afterwards. I passed through San Francesco into Parco Sempione, where I made an admittedly vain attempt to ask for work. I had even prepared my CV and some photos to present myself and my work, but the few people I managed to approach seemed uninterested. Given how I was dressed, I don't blame them. Spending the whole day outside in the cold forces you to generate heat, but for that you need energy from food to burn. Acting on the recommendation I received, I visited the food charity, Opera San Francesco. The dinner was warm, filling, and nutritious. I'm deeply grateful to the people who dedicate themselves to helping those in need. After dinner, I wandered back towards San Babila. There, I noticed a woman sitting on a curb with bags beside her.
Buonasera.
The streets are brutal for everyone, but for women, I believe 1,000 times worse. Fortunately, she had a fierce guardian by her side.
Ciao, come si chiama?
Davidiamo?
Davidiamo?
Sì.
Ciao, carino.
She was from Bulgaria and had stayed on the streets only for 2 weeks with her husband during their travels to Asti, where they were starting a new work on a vineyard.
Ciao. Scusi, ciao. Posso chiederti alcune cose?
At San Babila, I learned about the AZERTY keyboard while using Google Translate on Anthony's phone.
Oh, the keyboard is unfamiliar to me. I'll take my phone, okay?
He's from Marseille, France, but lost his job and couldn't find another. His mother was born in Sicily, so he came to Italy, hoping to reconnect with his inner child, as he put it.
So I've seen this guy in the Manta. You could not just not see him because he arrived on the electric scooter, but not just on the scooter. He was in that kind of baby wagon, and he was basically driving the scooter under the wagon, so it was like a little cart. It was so funny.
I had never truly realized how much full belly affects your mood. You could probably tell that my spirits were lifted. Not far away, I met another woman. Melina didn't want to be filmed, but agreed to let me capture her voice.
Da quanto tempo c'è nella strada?
2 anni.
2 anni?
Da quando che il comune di Milano mi ha preso mio figlio.
Ok, quindi è di Milano.
Io non sono siciliana, però
Ok.
vivo a Milano da più di 13 anni. Con il Covid non ho più lavorato, solo lavorato in nero. Uno che non ha fatto il vaccino
Ok.
non ha potuto più lavorare, qualcuno ha fatto il vaccino e ha perso lo stesso il lavoro.
Ok.
C'è un po' di crisi in Italia.
Ah, quindi
Fa schifo.
mi
Io avevo il
dispiace.
lavoro,
Mm.
avevo la casa, avevo mio figlio, ora non ho più niente. Ci
No, mi
sono
dispiace.
solo io.
Mi dispiace.
L'estate
freddo.
magari è divertente, ma d'inverno no.
Divertente in...
Nel senso è come la prendi un po', puoi dormire anche nei parchi, c'è le fontane a tua disposizione, fa caldo. D'inverno fa freddo.
Fa freddo, sì.
Pericoloso perché ti rubano. Tagliano il saccappello e la tenda col coltellino o qualcosa e ti
Ok.
rubano. A me mi ha rubato da 2 anni 5 cellulari, ho fatto 5 volte i documenti perché mi ha
Veramente?
rubato la borsa
Ok.
e quindi ho dovuto rifare tutto, non riuscivo a fare 27 euro, poi alla fine sono riusciti a farli.
Lei deve avere 27 euro per fare documenti nuovi,
Sì.
vero?
27 euro alla...
È duro,
È
vero?
dura se non ti aiuta qualcuno, è dura vivere in strada da sola.
Sì,
Se hai
e lei
qualcuno
è da
meglio.
sola?
No, io ho il compagno.
Il compagno. Quindi con il compagno è più sicuro, no?
Sì, se sto con lui sì.
Grazie mille signora per la risposta.
Prego.
Maddalena also told me that some charities would be arriving tonight to distribute clothing, food and hot tea.
Se vai in Corso Europa dove c'è la chiesa ortodossa, sempre dritto, stasera viene l'associazione e vedi tante gente che dorme in strada. C'è gente che dorme, che ha la casa, però viene in strada a prendere il cibo e i vestiti. C'è il Cison, che stasera c'è anche il dottore che a me serve. Per le medicine, le cose serve a una donna che magari la ronda non dà. C'è varie associazioni, il Cison, la mia, c'è varie, e poi c'è anche gente che esce da casa e ti porta da mangiare.
Quindi la gente è gentile a volte.
A volte sì, a volte no, non tutti sono bravi.
Ok, va bene.
È questo, se vai di là che magari lui tra poco arriva, io dopo vado di là, c'è tanta gente di là stasera, dalle 9 alle 10:30. Vai dritto di qui, attraversi, vai dritto di qua, vai dritto, fai così, attraversi, ti trovi di qua un corridoio così che c'è la posta. Tu arrivi
È
dove...
una chiesa piccola dentro un cortile, vero? Sì, lo conosco, ok.
Di fronte ci sono le panchine e il giornalaio,
Ok.
la sera arrivano là il camion,
Ok.
arriva anche altra gente, ci sono anche donne.
Bravi ragazzi.
Niente.
There's like more aesthetic context right now.
And then I met Roman. I found him visibly distraught in a small park. He had just visited the charity gathering, but when he returned to his sleeping spot, he discovered that his sleeping bag had been stolen. He was born to Russian parents, but grew up near Naples. We chatted for hours about so many things. I was left with such mixed feelings, grateful to have met such an enthusiastic young person, yet heartbroken to see this pure soul in such an unforgiving environment, defenseless against the hostility of others. He showed me around, and I helped him settle in for the night. It was late, so we made a toast with our water bottles and said our goodbyes. I had chosen a different place to sleep, so I gifted him my blanket before heading off. There was a new metro station just being finished, and this nearby deserted building was used by the builders, but only during the day. They say this place used to be some kind of a hospital. Something in the back of my mind warned me not to go in. Tragically, I ignored it. Just kidding. I actually found an ideal room where the workers stored their tools. I grabbed a broom to clean the space, wrote a few warning signs to avoid giving them a scare in the morning, and went to sleep.
Ciao, buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Esco in 5 minuti.
No, tranquillo, tranquillo.
Good morning. I slept quite well. Not that long, but in a very comfortable and safe spot. And I put the bed like this, so I made this kind of barrier so they don't trample over me or something like that. I expected the workers to come because I saw they have tools here, so I wrote them a few messages. I will exit in the morning. Thank you, brothers. A man on the floor is sleeping like a baby.
I packed up my things and slipped out of the building. Over my shoulder, I noticed a security guard eyeing me, so I hurried away. After an eventful third day, I wanted to take things slower and unwind. Roman had recommended me this public library, a place where one could take refuge from the cold. Feeling socially drained, I spent the most of the day roaming the city, switching reading spots as I went.
Mamma mia.
In the evening, I returned to Tre Torri, where I once again, rather hopelessly, tried to ask for work. But hey, at least there was a toilet nearby. Then I was strolling through Giardini Indromontanelli when this happened, right in front of my eyes.
I hope it was consensual, I think it was, but it was very random. I forgot one thing. I forgot one zone that is very famous for its dangerous night streets and homeless people, and that zone is called Centrale.
But wait. Milano Centrale is so legendary that grown men bring the full squad, including professional fighters, to feel safe to shoot videos there.
And then I'm gonna take a bus. I'm gonna take a very special bus, a bus 90 or 91. It's called Circolare. It means it goes in circles around Milan, and it's like continuous line. So a lot of homeless people, they stay on the bus during freezing nights, and they just go in circles and they sleep there. I think everyone who lives in Milan knows this bus.
I remembered that Philippe had mentioned staying near the French embassy.
Away from
The station and the French consulate.
Since I wasn't far, I decided to go look for him.
Scusi, sapete dove è il Milano Centrale, stazione?
Milano Centrale, sempre diritto. L'ipodromo.
Ok, grazie. Piacere mio, signor Mazzini. I went around the French consulate, maybe if I find you.
Oh, no, I am just at the end.
I was looking for you because I wanted to tell you if you know about this charity of San Francesco. It's close to San Babila, close to where we met.
Ah, okay.
It's very close
okay.
to there. Please take it. I don't need it anymore.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Positive?
Yeah, positive.
Thank you. So, I will have a look. Today it was routine. In the evening, I go to the station, it's warmer a bit. And after, when it's 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I go back to sleep. Because I spend 60 days, no rain, twice or three times. Usually in Brittany, in France, it's raining every day.
Are you from Brittany?
Yeah.
And do you speak Gaelic?
No. I have spent a few years in Budapest.
You told me you have flat there, right?
Yes, I have still a flat. I invested because I had money 20 years ago. I met a nice Hungarian woman. And she helped me a lot in discovering the place. Now they must be looking after my flat for me because they know I have problems.
So this is your spot.
It used to be there. When it was raining once, I have tried there.
Okay.
I realized it was.
But please try to find the mensa, the cafeteria. The meals are really good and personal is really nice. So I'll let you to sleep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, bye bye. Good luck.
I am so happy about this encounter, that I met Philippe again, because when we talked for the first time he told me that he kind of has troubles to look for food.
Food, it's all around.
Even though there's this amazing charity, and I'm sure he's gonna find it and he's gonna register and have a much better time in Milan.
I reached the monumental building of the Central railway station. It's a very impressive building, but with all those exaggerated dimensions, Mussolini was definitely compensating for something. As it was too calm, I read for an hour and then went outside again.
Ciao. Cosa? No, grazie. Ma quanti sono i prezzi a Milano?
La marijuana?
No.
La coca?
Quanto costa?
Coca per 50 fino a 40.
50 per un grammo?
Ah, no, mezzo.
Mezzo grammo solo? Ok. Sono curioso solo, grazie. E per marijuana quanto?
Allora, dipende quanto vuoi, però il prezzo comincia da 20, 30, 40. Dipende da quanto vuoi.
Grazie, ma non voglio.
Tranquillo, bro.
Buona serata.
That was kind of disappointing. Maybe not disappointing, but very calm. Only 2 drug dealers asking me. But it's true, it's just Thursday and it's also very cold outside and it is not that late.
I took the famous bus 90, but also there it was calm and orderly. So I began heading to my next sleeping spot.
Buonasera, mi scusi, sa dove è il fontanile in questo parco?
In che senso il fontana? La fontana?
Fontana, sì.
Ce ne sono, guarda, ce ne sono una lì e un'altra lì, ce ne sono 3.
Quella più vicina è proprio.
Ma guarda, sono vicine tutte uguali, sono uguali. Una lì.
Ah, ok, adesso lo vedo.
Uguale.
Lui dorme qua, in questo parco?
No, non sto parco. Troppo freddo qua. È freddissimo.
Ok. Ciao, grazie.
For that night, I had chosen a very special place to stay. Unfortunately, this place was demoted to unofficial public latrines.
So much shit.
Yeah, and don't worry, no more jump scares. I promise.
Oh my god, that's disgusting. All the rubbish. Mamma mia.
Since I had no plan B and was already tired, I just set up a camp there.
So this is where I slept.
And I decided to stay in this spot because even though it's absolutely trashed, it's like well protected from anything basically.
As I mentioned, this place was special. If you think this is just a crumbled brick wall, you're not wrong. But these walls were built almost 500 years ago and protected Milan for centuries. If we look at the map from 1573, we can see the exact structure. And if you are a history nerd like me, you might enjoy my first video on this channel, where I dive into the fascinating history behind these fortifications.
Lo so perché abbiamo arriviamo. Fammi ragionare. I mango belli, gli ultimi mango belli, dai! Ciao carissima, grazie a te.
After my morning routine at Lodi, I reflected on my quests. I was still alive, which was good, but one side quest remained unattempted, so I set out to find a supermarket. Only to discover that both entrances were already occupied by other beggars. Leaving side quests unfinished can be frustrating, so I gave it another go. Surprisingly, it was much easier than I expected.
Mi scusi signora, buongiorno. Mi può comprare una banana da mangiare, per favore? Grazie mille.
Le banane sono troppo verdi.
Oh, grazie mille signora, grazie mille. Buona giornata. Grazie.
I decided to revisit Axel.
E voi? Tutto bene? Tutto andava bene, sì.
Meno male. Uno morto ieri qua.
Un morto?
Sì, del freddo.
Del freddo, veramente? In questo parco?
Quindi c'è l'albero che c'è il fiore. Giovane, c'ha 26 il massimo.
Veramente? E senza copertine? O...
No, l'ho dato io, l'ho coperta, però lui è freddo, ho dato io. Non lo so, forse non ha mangiato, forse qualcosa. L'hanno trovato morto.
Oh, mi spiace.
Veramente mi spiace. Io 3 giubbotti.
Lo hai conosciuto?
Sì, un attimo, non parlava bene neanche l'italiano per arrivare. Un attimo, è arrivato, lo vedo che è freddo, l'ho dato delle coperte di cose. Se n'è andato lì, giovane, un ragazzino. Non c'era neanche la barba, porca puttana. Speriamo bene, dai.
Per primavera, dopo sarà meglio.
Ecco, bravo, e quindi torna il tempo bello. È normale, ogni anno succede, ogni anno. L'anno scorso a Piola, ti ricordi? A Piola, sulla banchina. Qua, la piazza vicino, l'anno scorso. Anche stanotte ha fatto troppo freddo. Meno 5 stanotte. Stamattina tutto quello ghiacciato, tutto il prato. Sopraffollamento.
Però...
Specialmente c'è la malattia. Se si ammala uno, si ammalano tutti. Insieme sembrava un pollaio. È un casino.
E per il cibo avete anche usato quello opera di San Francesco? O no?
Sì, vengono.
Lo portano qua? O?
Sì, c'è ancora abbiamo la pasta lì da ieri.
Ah, ok, bene.
Ci portano dentifrici, fazzoletti, di cosa.
Sono molto gentili.
Sì, bravissimi. Prima l'arca veniva, c'era la furgona, lo mettono lì e se tu musulmano ti danno il mangiare dei musulmani, se tu diciamo cristiano ti danno. Era comodo, non lo so perché non vengono più. Anche quella della doccia, prima lo vengono una volta alla settimana.
Con la doccia?
Camioncino, vieni, si ferma lì.
Ah, dentro c'è la doccia?
Sì, dentro c'è la doccia. Però adesso non vieni più. Adesso io lo faccio al bagno, qua scaldo l'acqua, lo faccio al bagno.
Qua? Dentro quella?
Se è chiuso, scaldi acqua.
Ok.
E entri lì e fai doccia.
Ok. Allora, vi spero buona fortuna.
Anche te, fratello, grazie.
Imagine chasing a dream for a better life, possibly putting your family into debt just to get here. And this is what awaits you here? That is just heartbreaking. To distract myself, I decided to enjoy my book in the sunshine. It was time to start heading home. Then I met this man.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno, parla italiano? Italiano? No? Vuole... Di dove è? Do you speak English? Ja jsem z Česka.
Jsi Čech.
Jo.
Tak, Ciro. Čau.
Vy se jmenujete Ciro, nebo vám tak říkají?
Já jsem Jina Kirka. Italové mi říkají jenom Ciro.
I had seen Ciro before, at the supermarket near our home, so I knew of him. But I never expected him to be my countryman. To be brutally honest, I felt a pang of shame that he was a representation of my people. Yet, as with everything, there is context. He is a product of a sadly common phenomenon in my country. His generation grew up under a communist regime that suppressed intellectual activities, anything that could lead to free thought. In contrast, alcoholism was, if not directly encouraged, at least widely normalized. After the Velvet Revolution in 1989, opportunities arose to earn much better wages in Western Europe. Many Czechs ventured abroad to work. Ciro was one of them. 20 years ago, he left for Italy and spent a decade working as a barman and cook. Then, his family called him back.
Musíš zpátky do Čech. Mama. Mama, nemožno.
Aha.
A ty přijedeš do Čech a ona... Klasta.
Only to use him for his money to solve their own financial problems before kicking him out. Having nowhere else to turn, he turned to Italy but struggled to find work. He has been living on the street ever since. We spoke in Czech, though I often found it hard to follow. He mixed old-school pub slang with his own version of Italian, and at times even Albanian sign language. During these 10 years on the street, he lived through a lot. He told me that in the charity showers, he had to pick up soap for Polish guys, and many more.
Afrikano po mně hodil to. A hopa.
U vás hodil něco. Mačetu? Mačetu. Aha.
A hopa. On po mně šupe, já se ohnu a on jí málem dostal. Víte co? Karabinici.
Aha.
A lupo.
Ho zavřeli.
No.
Nebo vás chtěli zavřít?
Zpátky. Zpátky. Ale ne. Psychiatr. Psychiatria a zpátky. 14 dní na psychiatrii. Hej, a pak vypadni. A pak vypadni. A proč mám vypadni? Co je Itálie? Co není Česko?
Takže jste šel zase zpátky sem.
Protože kdyby to bylo v Čechách, tak jdu rovnou do lapáku. Když byl Berlusconi. Silvio Berlusconi.
No.
Ideš do Rinate. Ah, ma pensa. Ma i soldi, altri soldi. Ma sta fame. Una noce. Una noce. To ci spire 30 euro a basta. Quindi viděl? Zase nemá chudá. Zase český blbec nemá prachy. Italská žena. Che sei? 1, 2, 3, 10. Fuck. Vodka. Můj starý se vrátil z lapáku. Bacha, ale já jsem s ním tohle.
Sposata.
Sposata? A dire. A musel pryč. Když budeš dát nějakýho měsíce.
No.
Až přijdou rumunský rubaťáci, tak to nechtěj.
Jo.
Všude nechtěj. Protože neony. Roma, čistá. Milano, negrito. Afrika. This is Rashka. Co to je? Jo, dobrý.
Senti,
Dáme to si ven.
questo ti posso
No. To jsem ženská.
Eccoci, forse.
To si ven.
Capito, ma perché non
No.
ti tieni? È caldo.
A co mám?
Vabbè.
Mamma mia, já si mu koupit ještě pivo. Byl Berlusconi, měl si tady první ženu, s kterou si žil Jugoslavka.
Jo, aha.
Jugoslavka, a nejco, máma ji pověsila.
Její máma ji pověsila.
Pověsila?
Jak to?
Protože co? Nechtěla blondáka. Ona chtěla Itala, který má hnědý oči.
Aha.
Ne Azuro. Taky pověsila.
Jakože zabila vlastní dceru.
A co se? Druhou, co jsem měl,
Aha.
tak tu od prásky.
Fakt jo? Kvůli čemu?
Drogy.
A.
Drogy.
A to byla Italka nebo někdo jiný?
Ne, Bosna.
Bosna, aha.
Bosna, Hercegovina a Jugoslávia.
Aha.
Když to mám říct, porque to je Jugoslávia.
Jo, no.
On ti dá. Teraz. Aha. A když ji nemáš, tak co je? Prásk. A co je? Píšeš okop. Ona chodila s Rumunem, ale co? Koustala se mnou, ale s Rumunem chodila.
Aha.
Je Rumun. Sázel prachy.
Aha.
A já jim, no.
Jirko, až vás příště potkám, tak vám koupím pivo, jo?
Eventually, full of impressions, I left Ciro and finally returned home.
A ty musíš dělat hlavo. Takže jinak budeš na ulici dělat to já.
There's no outro. There is no outro. Because look,
It's almost midnight, and I just finished the rough cut and I need to finish intro and outro. And tomorrow is Easter Monday, and I'm leaving for 2 months around Italy on my bike, and I still need to pack, I still need to prepare myself, so there's no outro, sorry. But if you want to follow more adventures, another one starts tomorrow, so be sure you follow this channel or whatever. Thank you and good night.